According to the latest reports from Petrojam, motorists should see an increase at the pumps in gasoline and diesel prices effective Thursday, June 9. With a $4.50 increase, 87 and 90 octane gasoline will be sold for $215.89 and $220.91 per liter respectively. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $218.51 per liter. Continuing with the $4.50 increase, ultra-low sulfur diesel will be sold for $221.25 per liter and kerosene will be sold for $192.20 per liter. Meanwhile, propane liquid petroleum will be sold for $76.94 per liter, up $1.35, and butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $85.47 per liter after a 68-cent decrease. Remember to be on the lookout for price changes as marketing companies and retailers will add their own markups to these prices. The Bank of Jamaica says it has engaged with various players in the commercial banking sector in an effort to reduce technology-based frauds such as smishing, vishing, and phishing. The engagement comes as a response to the recent attack on customers of the National Commercial Bank, which resulted in a significant loss of approximately $18 million. The BOJ is advising banks and other licensees under the Banking Services Act (BSA) to implement the necessary mechanisms and controls to protect and mitigate against cyber attacks and other fraudulent activities. They are also encouraging the banks to increase their vigilance and be proactive in educating the public on ways to protect themselves and their money. Members of the public are being reminded to call their banks to verify any authentication of any communication before revealing sensitive information. Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Wednesday, June 8th, the US dollar sold for an average of $154.89. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $124.41. The pound sterling traded for $196.19, and the euro sold for an average of $167.99. The following reflects the movement of the JSE indices in Wednesday's trading session. The JSE index advanced by 4,026 points to close at over 300,000 units. The junior market index declined by 32 points to close at over 4,000 units. The combined market index advanced by 828 points to close at over 300,000 units, and the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by 4,841 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 103 stocks, of which 47 advanced, 39 declined, and 17 traded firm. Stocks advanced for Access Financial Services Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Cargo Handlers Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Trading firm were 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and First Rock Capital Holdings Limited USD. The following companies represent the overall volume leaders. Productive Business Solutions Limited 9.75% cumulative redeemable with over 3 million units. Elite Diagnostic Limited and JMMB Group Limited 7.35% cumulative redeemable preference shares with over 2 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Clico Investment Fund was the volume leader with over 4,000 shares, followed by Calypso Macro Index Fund with 268 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Government of Barbados Bond Series B was the sole security trading over 193,000 shares. According to a report from the World Bank, global growth is expected to slump from 5.7% in 2021 to 2.9% in 2022, significantly lower than 4.1% anticipated in January. Director of the World Bank's Prospect Group, Ian Coze, has warned of the risk of the 1970s-style stagflation persisting in coming years amid soaring commodity prices and low growth.
Stagflation is a concept that basically describes you have high inflation and weak growth. It is a toxic mix. For economists, it is the type of problem difficult to overcome. Now, you need to, of course, find a way to increase supply, so you reduce price pressures, or to reduce demand, again to reduce price pressures. But both of them, of course, have its own challenges. Most people think about stagflation as a problem specific to the US. It's a global problem.
The World Bank says challenging global conditions are weighing on growth in Latin America and the Caribbean. It warns in its later Global Economic Prospect report the combination of the war in Ukraine, Chinese lockdowns, and supply chain disruptions make recession hard to avoid for many countries.
There is a humanitarian crisis in Europe taking place. We have the largest refugee crisis since the Second World War. We need to make sure humanitarian relief efforts are there in the context of Ukraine. In other parts of the world, there is conflict. And of course, we just talk about the issue of food insecurity. These are the types of problems, if you do not attend to at the global level, they can easily get out of control.
And lead to other problems, presumably.
Exactly. And of course, the global economy enjoyed for an extended period of rules-based global order.
In market data for oil prices hovered near 3-month highs this morning after parts of Shanghai imposed new COVID-19 lockdown measures. Brent crude dipped 14 cents or 0.1% to $123.44 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude was down 23 cents or 0.2% to $121.88 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.